Today's video will cover the entire Jack Hanma vs Pickle rematch in Baki Rahen, so make sure to get your popcorn ready and let me know in the comment section below what was your favorite moment from this rematch.
I get it. You are really going to do it. You are really going to go another round with Jack. Pickle then began smiling while saying Jack's name. And on the next panel, we are brought to the Tokyo Dome, or otherwise known as the fighting arena. It is daytime, and there's now an audience inside of the arena. He has been here the whole time. What do you mean? I mean, he was here even before the crowd. I just don't get these ancient guys. And this crowd was extremely active. And Jack Hanma was in the back room of the arena, now being dosed, prepared, and ready for his fight with Pickle. And the crowd was cheering so loudly that they could even be heard in the back room. Jack Hanma then began walking out to the arena, sporting a towel, some shorts, and some wrist as well as ankle wraps. And the crowd went absolutely crazy after seeing Jack. He is here. Yeah. And the cheering only continued from here, with Jack looking around while Pickle was still sitting down. This guy is huge. He makes his appearance, the colossal beast, Jack Hanma. He is simply gigantic, an enormous man, and we now get some height and weight measurements. Towering above his surroundings at 2 meters and 43 centimeters and weighing 211 kilograms. He has certainly inherited his father Yujiro Hanma's physicality, the incredibly mobile giant, Jack Hanma, and his opponent, prehistory's parting gift to us, and the strongest the Cretaceous era had to offer. But before the announcer could finish Pickle's introduction, Pickle immediately launched himself towards Jack Hanma, leaving even Mr. Tokugawa shocked. But Jack Hanma was ready. He took his towel off of his shoulders, and Pickle was moving extremely fast. The Cretacean has made his move. Not yet. Before the match could even officially start, Pickle has bitten Jack Hanma's towel that he just took off. While on the other hand, Jack squeezed onto the towel and yanked Pickle back while also throwing him down. And it is a throw. With the crowd now going crazy, and even Baki seemed to not have expected that. But it seems Pickle was ready, and he began to twist his body before slamming into the ground. But oh, Pickle sticks the landing. What incredible coordination. The whole crowd was on the edge of their seats, and it seems even though Pickle did know that Jack had gotten better, he seemed surprised that Jack could just throw him like that. One had used a towel as a weapon, and the other has attacked before the bell. Both sides start out with fouls, as Jack Hanma's towel is now ripped in half. The bleeding edge behemoth faces off against the Cretaceous' strongest soldier, Pickle. From one side comes a surprise attack before the match had even begun, while from the other, a weaponized towel to repel the Cretacean's attack, and both have opened with fouls, and are yet again squaring up with each other. Pickle was then seemingly dazing off while staring at Jack. That is, up until Jack Hanma put his fighting stance up, now utilizing his striking capabilities more than his biting. That's right. Jack is of course a striker, and a top class one at that, and Jack then threw a strike at Pickle, catching Pickle off guard in the process, and this punch landed square in the middle of Pickle's face. An almost perfect punch. Pickle was left stumbling a bit. Oh, what an incredible left straight, and one of Pickle's teeth was even knocked out during this punch. But Pickle had stopped himself from stumbling, and he then lifted his head up. He does not fall, and as a matter of fact, Pickle was standing proud, with Pickle now having a punch mark on his face, and yet, Pickle was seemingly holding back a grin, and after licking the blood that was gushing out of his nose, Pickle had let out an enormous smile, and on top of that, he is flashing Jack with a big Cretaceous smile. And even though Pickle may be happy, it looks like Pickle's smile got under Jack's skin, so Jack Hanma immediately leaped towards Pickle. landing multiple punches on Pickle's face in the process, but it buys him no reprieve from martial arts high-speed onslaught, which is basically just a really fancy way to say that Pickle received no punishment for not knowing any martial arts. And as Pickle cocked his head back forward after being hit, Pickle went for a bite, but Jack was prepared for this. It is a perfectly timed counter from Jack Hanma, and Jack has now flipped the tables. He is the one with an enormous smile on his face, and this may honestly be the happiest that I've ever seen Jack Hanma. And Jack then threw another kick at Pickle, not letting Pickle recover in the slightest. And this kick also connected, with Jack landing yet again another perfect strike on Pickle's face, leaving Pickle falling down towards the ground. But Pickle extended his right leg as he was falling and landed on it. But Pickle is still standing, and his smile has not even faded either. Pickle seems to be still having fun, showing how this fight has not even gotten serious for him. And there was a dark figure standing in the crowd. It was Hanayama, standing ominously while watching the fight. What fearsome toughness this Cretacean is displaying. This match simply cannot be decided with strikes alone. A straight fired off with such speed and intensity that it could even be called the ultimate jab and a counter. So well timed that it could twist Pickle's head right off, with Pickle just taking this attack up front and putting up no resistance, showing off his durability. The scythe of the modern age, the high kick, slices the Cretacean, with Pickle yet again just taking this attack head on. And as he takes on each of these modern weapons, take note of his face. Pickle looks extremely happy, which is most likely only making Jack Hanma even more angry. A time when things like this and this dominated the world, referring to dinosaurs. This was the Cretaceous era. In that time, this ancient youth, Pickle, with a build no larger than that of a gorilla, managed to stand firmly at the top of the food chain over every single dinosaur. And Pickle now views Jack Hanma as a baby T-Rex, instead of the dinosaur from before, which was a herbivore, showing how Jack has proved to Pickle that he has gotten far stronger. And also, there is just no way that Pickle is not larger than a gorilla. This man is enormous. From Pickle's point of view, you are probably just a tiny dinosaur. Jack Hanma, 243 centimeters tall, with a weight of 211 kilos, translating to 8 feet tall and 465 pounds. For a human, his size was extraordinary. But what if he were in the Cretaceous era? That deadly fist of his up against those T-Rex fangs, those raptor claws, or even those Triceratops horns. How would Jack Hanma compare to these dinosaurs? Tisk, 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 with Jack waving his finger back and forth. Enough of that crap. With Jack now clenching his fists. Do not look down on modern martial arts. Mr. Tokugawa was shocked after seeing this, and Baki looks more serious than usual, while the rest of the crowd was on the edge of their seats, just waiting to see what would happen. Fangs, claws, and even horns are not weapons designed for use against humans. With Jack ripping Pickle's hair with his right hand, leaving Pickle stunned, just as I was when I had seen this as well. And Jack then used his grip on Pickle's hair to hold him still as Jack then kneed Pickle right in the face. And then Jack pulled Pickle's hair again while Pickle was just still sat there amazed. And Jack then swung behind Pickle, grabbing a hold of his waist with his hands locked, making Baki seemingly more attentive to the fight. He grabbed him from behind. And this man Pickle had a 1,000-yard stare before Jack then planted his feet onto the ground and then suplexed Pickle. It is a German suplex and he is going low with it. And Pickle at this point is just acting like a taxidermy, just standing there, still letting Jack attack him. Pickle was slammed head first onto the ground and was stunned, amazed, and dazed all at the same time. The crowd went crazy. a super low and incredibly high-speed German suplex. Jack then took advantage of Pickle being stunned on the ground, and Jack then mounted Pickle, while Baki was in the crowd wondering, "Pickle, how will you handle modern martial arts? It has been called the most powerful strike one can perform with one's hands. The hammer blow from Jack Hammer." With Jack Hanma's fist being planted right onto Pickle's mouth. Two individual martial artists both holding their individual stances. One that practices a technique named Kenpo, while the other practices karate. In both Kenpo and karate, what is the strongest attack that the human hand can deliver? The Seiken? No. The knife hand? No. The Nukai? No. The martial artist then balled his fist up. The answer, is this a Seiken? No, it is the hammer blow. And this technique has been named for its indistinguishable resemblance to a large hammer. The force, as well as the impulse produced by the strike, is well documented, with a man breaking what seems to be a pretty sizable stone, utilizing only his fists. It is a technique that one must handle with extreme caution, with the manga now showing two people being knocked out by the strike, most likely giving these two the worst form of brain damage imaginable in the process of being hit by this attack. And Jack Hanma is still on top of Pickle. You could consider it as the equivalent of an explosive within karate. And that very same hammer by Jack has been brought down onto Pickle's face, landing a direct hit onto his nose. And when Jack had lifted his arm up to go for another hammer blow onto Pickle, the entire crowd, and even the likes of Mr. Tokugawa, Baki, and Karu Hanayama, seemingly got chills just at the view of Jack's arm, with his veins and muscles now popping out more than ever. And with Jack having the power that he does, combined with Pickle now being on the ground, this attack is critical for this fight, with Jack not wasting any time. Jack had began repeatedly hitting Pickle, practically spamming the hammer blow, before then prowling down to Pickle's level, grabbing one of Pickle's hands with his own while still hitting him with the other. And Pickle is now unconscious while also bleeding from his nose. The crowd is going absolutely insane, and I think we all know what is about to happen. Jack then opened his mouth, showing off his titanium teeth yet again, and Pickle is now a target for Jack Hanma's bite. Jack then dove toward Pickle's face, with his jaws wide open ready to bite, and then a gash was heard. Jack had latched onto the now temporarily defenseless Pickle, and Jack is biting Pickle's left cheek, biting as hard as he seemingly could, and this seems to have woken Pickle up with him feeling the pain. Pickle's eyes are now veiny and most likely bloodshot, and when Jack had finally pulled his jaws off of Pickle's face, he had left a trail of blood in the air as he did this. He bit him, and the crowd was just mortified at the sight of what they just had to witness. The entire left side of Pickle's face below the eyeball had been bitten off, with nothing but his face muscles being shown. Gee, he is eating his face. And not only was the crowd surprised by this happening, but Baki and Hanayama were also shocked. Jack Hanma has finally used his Gaudo on Pickle, and Pickle is now awake as well as being sat up. Pickle was stunned, and I don't think he had even fully comprehended what just happened to him. And Jack then spat Pickle's blood out of his mouth, as Pickle is now bleeding majorly from his face, which is now completely open. Jack's Gaudo is here, and now it has bared its fangs. But Pickle then began to realize that he now looks like Harvey Dent from Batman, and Pickle was absolutely furious. I have rarely ever seen Pickle have this look on his eyes, as Pickle then let out somewhat of a growl, and Pickle had tried to launch himself to bite Jack Hanma, but at that exact same moment, Jack threw a kick. And this kick connected to Pickle's neck, knocking him right back down, and the crowd was still amazed, now on the edge of their seats, as Pickle still seems to be extremely angry. And on this final panel, we truly get to see just how bad and severe this injury is for Pickle. Not only is Pickle's left cheek gone, but almost the entire left side of his face, with him only having his forehead on his left side. Jack fires off a low kick to the face of Pickle, with the crowd reacting by becoming more surprised after every attack during this fight. He kicked him right in the face. He got him right in the face, with an image then being shown of someone's kick breaking 3 bats in one singular motion. A low kick, capable of smashing even a compressed bat. It is a kicking technique that leads the pack in terms of destructive power, with the man behind this powerful kick then being shown, and this guy needs a hair transplant ASAP. To hit someone directly in the face with such a kick is to bring an end to the fight, with even more blood just gushing from Pickle's nose as he then flew backwards from the mere power of Jack's kick, leading to Pickle now being knocked back onto the ground, with the crowd roaring once again and Pickle now being stunned. Pickle had dreamt, for just a second, or maybe even 10, an incredible number of fragmented memories were then flashed before Pickle, with various characteristics of dinosaurs he has previously encountered then being shown. This was like the time that thing had used that, referring to a T-Rex's tail. Those and those too now, referring to a T-Rex's both teeth and claws. He had memories of those threats, but that was just incredible, with us now getting a little more of a backstory on Pickle, with Pickle being shown spinning in the air from being hit by a T-Rex's tail. And this T-Rex had even knocked Pickle off of a cliff, with Pickle trying to hold on to a frail branch that broke immediately. That blow, it was just like he had fallen from a great height, with this panel showing the great impact that Pickle had to endure when he had been knocked down from this cliff. This one is a lot like that thing, with Jack Hanma now being viewed as the T-Rex that he is, instead of a baby dinosaur, with Pickle's view of Jack Hanma showing just how much stronger he has gotten since learning this Gaudo of his. Those and those too. The way he uses those, with Pickle now referring to Jack Hanma utilizing his bite, hands, and feet, similarly to the T-Rex that Pickle had previously fought. It is just like a fight with a T-Rex, and that thing had tasted good, hadn't it? And this just shows how even though Jack Hanma has done all of this damage to Pickle, this fight has yet to even come close to reaching its peak. And now that Pickle believes Jack Hanma will taste good, I believe this will motivate Pickle to take Jack Hanma down even more. But then, this one, with Jack Hanma hitting Pickle with a punch to his right cheek directly, instantly dazing Pickle. And then, Jack Hanma locked his hands. He has caught him. Jack Hanma had Pickle in a familiar position, with Jack Hanma having a strong grip on Pickle. Might it be this one? Could Jack be? But before the announcer could even finish his sentence, Jack Hanma planted his feet onto the ground and suplexed Pickle. Now, for the second time during this fight, it is the super low altitude and high speed German suplex. Might it be that this one tastes good too? And Pickle had been slammed through the fence in the arena, like we were watching WWE. With Pickle actually looking concerned in this panel. A suplex into the barrier, and no one knew what to expect next. Not even the announcer. Pickle was once again unconscious and now against the barrier, and the audience members with front row tickets looked absolutely terrified, and rightfully so. They're like 10 feet away from 2 men that could body them in literally less than a second. And once again, Pickle is the target of Jack Hanma's bite, and Jack Hanma seems to have bitten Pickle's arm. And this time, Jack has gone extremely deep with this bite. This one may just take some muscle with it. Oh, an eruption of dark crimson once again, with Jack Hanma having his jaws locked down onto Pickle's left bicep, as Pickle is now down against the now broken barricade. And this bite could be fatal for Pickle if executed properly by Jack. The crowd was shocked, while on the other hand, the fighters, and especially Mr. Tokugawa, seemed rather scared for Pickle, most likely due to these 3 knowing what could happen to Pickle. But this is when Jack Hanma then picked Pickle up, while still having his teeth sunken into Pickle's skin. However, Pickle was now standing up and no longer dazed or unconscious. Pickle was shivering while trying to withstand both Jack's bite and Jack trying to throw Pickle over his leg. Oh, he is holding out. Pickle could only hold out for so long, with a drop of sweat even dropping down his cheek, and Pickle had then been thrown off of his footing, and Jack Hanma had removed his jaw, biting through Pickle's skin. Ah, he got him. Pickle was thrown upside down while also bleeding quite a lot. Whoa, oh my god, he bounced. How did he bounce off of sand? When Pickle landed onto his back, we get to see a better look at Pickle's bicep after it was bitten by Jack Hanma. Once more, a fountain of deep scarlet erupts from Pickle, referring to Pickle's blood that is now just gushing out of his bicep. But this wound does not seem to be very impactful, as Pickle then, with a trail of blood surrounding him, as he laid out in the sand, Pickle leaped back up looking quite angry. Oh, Pickle was absolutely furious as he then looked at Jack and screamed, seemingly as loud as he could. This is the maddest that I think I have ever seen Pickle, and even after Pickle had ran out of breath, he then took another breath and let out a scream that echoed throughout the packed arena, with no one knowing how to react. Even Jack Hanma was confused at what Pickle was doing. And this panel of Pickle is one of the best ones that I have seen thus far, with Pickle just looking absolutely menacing. Shiver, shake. Pickle had his mouth fully extended, showing off his muscular jaw that Pickle is renowned for. The crowd looked confused and honestly scared for what was about to happen, and Pickle at this point looks like he is absolutely locked in. With Pickle now just glaring at Jack Hanma, no more smiling or joking around. Pickle is beginning to get serious as he then got into this stance where he is actually holding his hands up like a genuine fighter rather than a beast. Oh, what is this? With Pickle's form looking rather good as well. And the stance that Pickle had taken involves not his fists, but rather Pickle's claws. Pickle is finally utilizing his razor-sharp claws, as well as his fangs that are also backed up by his prehistoric bite force. This technique allows Pickle to have numerous options for this fight. If Jack Hanma manages to get a hold of Pickle's claws, Pickle could then bite Jack Hanma as a counter to Jack's counter, and it goes vice versa. And Pickle then leaped towards Jack Hanma for now the second or third time during this fight. But this time, the leap was different. Pickle did not go into this blindly, but strategically. Pickle went towards Jack with his giant hands palming the back of Jack Hanma's head. This surprised Jack Hanma instantly, and Jack actually looks afraid here in this moment. Jack managed to get a hold of Pickle's arm, but here's when Pickle's strategy and fighting stance begin working. And Pickle then used his razor-sharp claws on his feet and began absolutely destroying Jack Hanma's stomach, with Pickle now using Jack Hanma's own grip against him, as Pickle then landed countless kicks to Jack's stomach. As Jack was then forced to take these attacks head on, with him not being able to defend himself in the moment. He is scratching at Jack. Just what is this technique? And Jack Hanma looked like he was going through some immense pain as Pickle was throwing kick after kick, with every kick doing more damage than the last due to Pickle's claws on his feet. And the result of Pickle's barrage of kicks was absolutely brutal. Jack Hanma's entire torso was covered with nothing but blood and wounds. This is the most damage Jack Hanma has taken during this fight, and Pickle is no longer angry, but is simply happy that Jack Hanma has been damaged like he had been, and he is probably even happier that Jack Hanma at this point has bled more than Pickle. But even though Pickle was happy, that was at the expense of Jack Hanma, and Jack looks extremely focused and angry. I mean, how could he not be? And Jack then blocked Pickle's hand behind his own head using the power of his neck. And Jack had hit Pickle's elbow bone upward. with it even making a cracking noise. This attack did not have nearly enough power to break Pickle's bone, but it was definitely enough to make Pickle feel the pain. Or this is just Pickle wondering what that cracking noise is. I honestly cannot get a read on this panel. But nonetheless, Pickle was stunned, leading to Jack Hanma now taking a bite out of Pickle's right bicep. And now, Jack Hanma has his jaws clenched onto Pickle's right arm. Jack had fully extended his jaw and was determined to pull this move off. And Jack succeeded. Jack managed to land this bite, first the left, and now the right arm. What a clean cut. And Pickle tried stopping Jack from biting his arm, but it was too late. Jack had already gotten away, leaving Pickle with another wound. Both of Pickle's biceps are now wounded and bleeding profusely. Gaudo strikes Pickle yet again, and now blood sprays from both arms. And now, Baki then began to analyze the true reason behind this particular area being targeted by Jack. He got the brachial artery on both arms, and that is a major blood vessel. That could easily be fatal, and in knife fighting, these are considered vital areas, with the 6 main vitals being the wrist, inside upper arm, inner hip joint, stomach, heart, and the throat. Say if you were to take a deep cut there, give it 1 or 2 minutes, and a normal person would be out almost instantly. And even if you would have really trained your body up, 1 bite from a toddler there could make you scream. And up against Jack Hanma's refined bites, he has definitely honed them to such an extent that it could even be called a style of its own. Just now, Jack had caught Pickle's arm with his jaw and then proceeded to strike Pickle's arm, while then also following that up by taking a bite out of Pickle's upper arm. And this bite is so deep that I'm pretty sure Pickle's muscle is now showing. We then begin to pan over to Hanayama, who is watching this fight and is now accompanied by Mr. Tokugawa. Sorry, I was looking for someone to chat with. Manliness, eh? Biting. A defense made for women and children. The last desperate weapon of the weak. And everyone is aware of its power, but it is not so unseemly. For Hanayama Karu, who lives by his own sense of aesthetics, this is something that you would never resort to. Hanayama then pushed his glasses up like he was Aizen. It is as you say, I do try to make a good impression on people. You can see now, Jack is not a fighter that resorts to biting, but he has made biting his coup de grace. The sole master of an entire biting system. If it is about making a good impression, just how would you fight? Jack Hanma is currently completely unfazed, even after taking the full force of Pickle's forbidden scratch dash. And with no delay at all, Jack launched his counterattack, and Jack is continuing to bleed an insane amount of blood from his stomach. And Jack then opened his mouth so wide that popping noises were being made. What the? His jaw. Is he a snake or something? And Jack then began to move his jaw from side to side. But Pickle did not just stand there and watch Jack do whatever he wanted. Pickle had stepped in and swiped at Jack's stomach, still targeting that specific area, with Jack's stomach only getting weaker with each attack that he has to endure, and he makes a long horizontal slice. And now that we get to see a close-up of Jack's stomach after this attack, this injury is honestly one of the worst ones to have. If Pickle really capitalizes off of this cut, Jack's organs can be hurt or even ripped out of him as a whole. But that is also not accounting for plot armor. You have to remember, Jack is a main character now, so the treatment is a little bit different. Jack then grabbed Pickle by his hair, leading to Jack locking his hands around Pickle, setting up for another suplex. Jack has taken Pickle's back for the 3rd time now, and with Jack planting his feet on the floor, there was no escaping this for Pickle. Again, the flash of Jack's modern sword, the super low angle and high speed German suplex. Now for the 3rd time during this fight, Jack is spamming that move. Thrice now. As it landed, Pickle was then slammed onto his back, yet again, and Jack then jumped up and changed forms. What is this? From the bridge, he is going back to his original stance? What could Jack Hanma be planning?
Jack Hanma is throwing yet another suplex as if he was Brock Lesnar himself. And this suplex seems to be the most powerful one coming from Jack so far. Jack flashes his blade of the modern age, the super low angle and high speed German suplex. Now for the third time. Pickle's eyes then closed, and Pickle is now unconscious for what I believe is the third time during this fight. And Pickle is not looking good at all, as his head was then knocked onto the ground with all of Jack's power being transferred throughout the suplex. Pickle was flipped upside down, and Jack had jumped up from this first suplex immediately after executing it, as the crowd and even Baki Hanma himself were insanely surprised. But this would not be enough to take Pickle down, and Jack, knowing this, rolled against Pickle's back, throwing Pickle onto his stomach in the process. What is this? He has sprung up and returned to his original stance. Jack then wrapped his arms around Pickle's waist. He has taken Pickle's back again. Just what exactly is Jack planning? Jack then locked his hands together while smiling like a villain. And something that I would just like to point out is the insanity of this sequence of panels. Itagaki had to have done this on purpose. There's no way. But nonetheless, Pickle had woken up, and by the time he had opened his eyes, Jack had already planted his feet, and Pickle was yanked extremely quickly. Oh, back-to-back German suplexes, another one. Pickle was thrown immediately after waking back up, and Pickle had hit his head yet again, causing his eyes to be closed. Oh, now he is. Once again, he kicks up from the bridge. Jack rolls once again, landing back onto his feet. Jack unleashes it again, throwing Pickle around as if he was a lightweight, with Jack executing yet another German suplex, sending Pickle's head through this barrier of the arena. And Pickle was yet again just sitting there, stunned. Whoa, right into the fence? Again? And Mr. Tokugawa could not believe what he was witnessing. Modern martial arts has just planted the man from the Cretaceous into the walls of this sacred arena. Jack had executed these suplexes so fast that you could see the spots where Jack had thrown Pickle around the arena, with Pickle now being left laying in the barricade, giving us a bit of a callback to when Jack was in the same exact situation that Pickle is in now during their first fight. And he is looking down on him. The Fang of modern martial arts looks down on the unmoving Fang of the Cretaceous. And Pickle is out cold. Jack then put his hands up. And what is this? Jack then began doing some sort of sign language, leaving the crowd confused. Jack is... what is this? He is miming bites? Is he signing? Air biting. He is saying that he is ready to bite now, anytime and any place. Jack has officially declared himself victorious and the match is over. Jack is so strong. He's saying he already won? That is crazy. It seems the audience members are just as surprised as me about the results of this match. And without even waiting to hear the judge's actual decision, Jack Hanma had already named himself as the victor. And now the cheers, as well as the roars of the crowd. Jack soaks it all in. Jack is absolutely absorbed in it. It sinks deep into his very own skin. Jack's entire body is soaked in these cheers. Jack is currently completely bathed in a dense cloud of jubilation, centered squarely on Jack and Jack only. Jack is just standing there in the arena, revelating about this victory of his. That is... up until the next panel. Jack was staring up, but then he had noticed something, and Baki was in the audience, absolutely stunned at what he was witnessing. Pickle had gotten back up, and Jack turned his head to face Pickle extremely quickly. But what is this? Pickle is standing up. He is back onto his feet. Has the Cretacean's toughness reawakened? The crowd had went from cheers and screaming to complete radio silence, with nobody, not even Jack, having any idea of what was about to happen. Huh? It is a smile. What? A smile? Pickle is smiling, and Jack looks like he had seen a ghost. Pickle had gave this man Jack a 1,000-yard stare, while Pickle on the other hand was just smiling. It is absolutely a smile to the man who has given him such deep wounds, and the enemy whose aim is to take his life. The Cretacean flashed a smile towards Jack. Pickle then extended his arm. Huh? Now Pickle raises a hand. Pickle is holding his hand out towards Jack, and this seemingly put Jack on edge, as this fight went from a potential life or death scenario to Pickle just getting back up and extending his hand to Jack. The hand bearing those razor-like claws moved slowly towards Jack in the most gentle display that we have seen all night, and Jack then started grinning extremely hard before then putting his hand into Pickle's hand. Oh, they have clasped hands, and Pickle looks a little surprised at Jack grabbing his hand back. The way of fighting, this grip, what calm and what kindness. Jack then began slouching down to almost match Pickle's height. It almost seems too amiable for this clasp of hands to be called a grip. More like two lovers holding a hand, rather than two fighters simply grasping each other's hands. And this seemed to make Baki happy. And the crowd was also happy about this, as the audience then began clapping, and Pickle then began articulating his second sentence ever. Jack, win. Jack was surprised by Pickle yet again, and they released their grasp of hands. He has released the grip. Pickle then turned around, facing away from Jack, and began walking away, with Pickle admitting himself as the loser of this fight. And now, only the aftertaste of that warmth remains. And though Pickle is now walking away, Jack is still caught up on the fact that Pickle is now able to somewhat form simple sentences. And with that warm smile upon his lips, the Cretaceous soldier leaves the battlefield. Jack's win?